Hey, so do you know what the fun thing about not being monetized is? I'll tell you. I can talk about Spread Me without worrying about losing any monetization. We'll see how weird it gets. Have you ever wanted to read a book about someone who is sexually attracted to viruses? No? Me neither, but I did. And I didn't hate it. That's the wild thing. I did not hate it. So, now that we've got that out of the way, let me reposition myself and talk to you seriously about Spread Me. Okay, are we comfy? I'm comfy. I was gonna grab a beer for this. Maybe I should. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? Actually, yeah, let me go grab a beer for this.
A few moments later.
Okay, we're back. We're ready. We got an Elysian Punkachino because I got a mix pack so that I could get the night owl out of it. And we're gonna have a Punkachino. I don't think I've had a Punkachino in years. So, quick beer review. Yeah. Punkachino by Elysian is a coffee pumpkin ale. I don't remember the percentage, but I think it's high. Metal can, thank you. Brewhouse opened in 1996. There we go, 6%. This is not the high one. The other one is the high one. Okay, anyway, 6% coffee ale. Let's give it a try. That is a flavor I remember. It tastes like a brown ale, bit of espresso, bit of pumpkin on the back end, bit of spices. Pretty good. So let's chat about Spread Me. It's been a while since I've sat down and done an actual review, and I just realized I kind of miss it. So I'm gonna try and get through as many reviews as I can in October, because it's my favorite month. I love Halloween. I love spooky things. I love horror. I've been reading a lot of horror in the last week, and I feel invigorated. I've been loving my fantasy journey, but there is something about horror that keeps me coming back. So Spread Me by Sarah Gailey. This was a weird book. I got an advanced listening copy from NetGalley and Macmillan Audio. Thank you so much for those advanced copies. The book is now out though. So I'm talking about it after it's out, but that's not because I didn't like it. I actually really liked this, and I cannot tell you why. Like, I don't know why. I sat on this for a little while trying to figure out what I was going to say about it, because by all means, I probably should not have liked this. I watched Kayla from Books and Lala give a brief review about this in one of her reading vlogs, and I had just finished it, and I was like, I think that's more of an erotic horror than a horror, and she actually said the same thing. She said, if anything, she would classify this book as an erotic book first and a horror second, and I also think so. So I don't remember the synopsis. I'll pop it up here because I read it before I requested the book, and I don't think I knew. I must have forgotten, or it did not clearly explain what I was getting into. So I'm gonna tell you, we're following a woman named Kinsey, I believe. Kinsey? Yes, we're following Kinsey. She is the lead researcher for this isolated research group out in the desert. I don't think it ever really describes where this desert is. It's just the desert, and it's a research hub in the desert. It's very, like, secure. It's got airlocks. Like, we're talking, like, Matt Damon's hub on Mars and The Martian secure. And that's kind of what I kept thinking about, like, because, you know, we're talking about the desert, and there's this sandstorm outside. We're already isolated from everyone. Now we're trapped in this dome with a sandstorm that will kill you. And we have this cast of very diverse characters who are all kind of outcasts from society in different ways from what we gather eventually about them. They all have this different reasons for wanting to be in this isolated research station, because they're stuck there for, like, they've been there for years. So we find out as the story goes on that Kinsey started this research station around the time that COVID started. And it gave her two excuses, right? So one, it was the excuse to be isolated from the rest of society in the midst of a pandemic. That sounds pretty good to me. The second one was it gave her a chance to be isolated from the big C-19 that she was feeling sexually attracted to. When I was like, excuse me, ma'am, what? What are you saying? So she felt the need to get away because she was, like, feeling the strong desire to infect herself with the virus, because apparently that is like peak sensuality to her. And I was like, okay. We'd already done some weird things, but I was like, that explains a lot of the weird things, because this kind of came in the middle of the book. So this is the gist of it. Other people came to this research station to work with Kinsey and be also away for various reasons. Some of them we learn about and some of them we don't, but everyone is kind of built this little familial research group. And as what happens in familial research groups that are isolated from my understanding from people who have been in these types of scenarios, everybody be fucking. And that's pretty much what happens. So, except for Kinsey. Kinsey has never wanted to be involved with any of that, and everyone has respected it. So, after they bring in this sample of this coyote that something is wrong with, and everyone gets sick, and then people start hitting on Kinsey, she's like, something's wrong, because Domino, one of the researchers who seems to be like Kinsey's closest pal, one of her closest pals, refuses to listen to the word no. And she ends up okay, and nothing ends up happening, but it's a harrowing situation for her because she also feels this slight pull of attraction, which she never normally feels, and that's how she knows something is wrong. And then Domino's got some body horror shit going on, and that's when we know things are really messed up. And now the sandstorm has hit. Problem is, if Domino is not Domino, nobody else can read the storm monitor. So we're trapped for an unknown amount of time because we don't know when the next storm is coming. We don't know when this one's dying. We don't know what's on the horizon. So, trapped. And this virus has set its eyes on Kinsey and decides that it wants her and only her. And it will go through any means necessary to take her with her consent. Only with her consent for some reason. No, everyone else doesn't get consent. Kinsey has to give consent. So that was interesting. That was the weird thing for me. That was where I was like, why does it not care if everyone else says yes, but Kinsey has to say yes? That's my question. That's my question. So that is kind of like the minimal spoiler, like plot breakdown. Small spoiler, one of the first few scenes we get is Kinsey having some alone time with herself, thinking about this virus, not this virus, but a different virus, and what happens when a virus infects a cell, and giving a very, very, very lust-filled description that is extremely descriptive in very weird ways about how a virus would go about penetrating and then injecting its genetic material into a cell. And I was like, I am very uncomfortable right now. I'm very uncomfortable. So that's kind of the first, that happens probably in the first hour of the book. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But what kept me going with the story was that it is actually very tense, and it is very, if you like a horror book where there is that edge of you don't know who is out to get you, you don't know what's around the next corner, and you don't know when you'll be next, it has a lot of those really good elements. And that, the isolation, the tension, the I don't know what's coming for me, all of that of it was like really, really good. I enjoyed that aspect of it a lot, and that made me really keep going with the book. I also think the characters were fantastic. So we get introduced to quite a few characters, and some of them we spend more time with than others, because we have Domino, who we spend a lot of time with, and we learn a lot about Domino's backstory and how Domino came to the dome, the research station. And Domino is a very interesting character. They are the kind of jokester of the group, and so that's kind of part of how Kinsey knows something's wrong, is that Domino quits joking in the normal way that they would. And Kinsey is like heartbroken over the loss of them, and so were the other crew members, especially the one or two that have had emotional connections with Domino. And that leads to tension then between the two characters, because Kinsey has to explain to them that Domino is gone. and they refuse to believe it. And it starts this whole thing. And then we have Mads. Mads is the physician of the group. And Mads is a force, apparently. Mads, they're extremely tall, and they are kind of like the sturdy person who has experienced a ton of loss and is kind of the one of the two, like Domino and Mads are the two closest people to Kinsey. So Mads's arc of how everything goes down with them really was like heart-wrenching for me. Like I was like, no, like everything that was happening with them was like, their whole backstory was tragic, and how them being the physician having to manage this outbreak, like all of their emotions, and it's all like third person limited from Kinsey's perspective, so we're only getting Mads' reaction from Kinsey's perspective, and it was still like, I really felt for Mads. Like I really enjoyed their character a lot. I can't remember. We have Jock? I can't remember. He is kind of like a tertiary character. The main ones are really like Domino, Mads, and Kinsey. Jock is kind of a tertiary character who is he's the alcoholic of the group, and the token man in the group, and his character is never really explained on what's going on with him, and that was kind of something that I wanted to know, was like, what is going on with him. So the fact, and then we have two other women, Saskia and I can't remember the other one's name, because that's how little we get on both of them. So it kind of like leads into like explaining what's happening as far as who's important and stuff is how much I remember about them. So, but I think the character work with these characters and the way they interacted with each other was amazing, and I really, really enjoyed it. So if you want something that's like weird and uncomfortable, and I think that good horror should make you uncomfortable. That's not to say like there's a specific way that I feel like good horror should make you uncomfortable in specific ways. I don't think it should make you feel unsafe, but I think it should make you feel uncomfortable, and this does that. I never felt like, I personally was like, never like, oh my god, I could never meet Sarah Gailey, what the hell. Like I was still like, this person is very confusing. Like, so I'm sinking. So that's kind of how I feel about it. So quick spoilers, because I really want to talk about the ending. So this is the spoiler mark. If you've made it with me this long, I really appreciate it. That was very chaotic, and I apologize. I don't know what was happening. I just could not get my thoughts out in the video. So thank you for sticking with me this long. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more horror reviews the rest of the month and continuing on, because I'm back in my horror game. So, spoiler is the ending. Essentially, this virus infects everyone in this dome, right? Everyone gets infected because it is using these people to try to seduce Kinsey so that it can infect her. And my question is, why didn't it just infect her like everybody else? That's what I still can't get past, about why it needed permission for her and nobody else. And like, that was the thing that got to me, right? Is it kept like, it took all these other people just to get her, when it could have just taken her just like it did everyone else. And I don't understand. I'm so confused. So the ending is so wild, because she ends up having to like kill Domino, Domino infected by virus, because she doesn't want the virus in the shape it's taken to try to please her, which is a humanoid shape. She wants it in its viral shape. So she like drives out in the desert and digs down to it and like strips down and just like spread eagles on the like lichen mat, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And that's just how it ends. It is the weirdest fucking ending, and I had to sit there with it because I was just like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Like, I don't mind that it was an kind of ambiguous, like, what the fuck happened ending, but I'm still just like, what the fuck happened? What was going on? Like, I don't get it. So, I liked it. I really did. And this is only the second Sarah Gailey book I read. I read Upright Women Wanted, which has a whole different vibe. It's about librarians that lead the resistance in a dystopian past or future. And I'm just like, what? Sarah Gailey's got range. Like, there's the Hippo book. I really want to read the Hippo book. And so I'm just like, it was so weird. And I don't know how I feel about it still. I gave it like a 4.5 because I was like, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, but also like, viruses? That's what you're into? Like, that's what this character is into? I never would have, I don't know. It was so weird, and I'll probably never think of viruses the same ever again. Like, this is what you're, this? I just, I mean, I guess. So that's Sarah Gailey Spread Me, and my really confused review. The Border Collie controlling is coming out strong. So I'm trying to get through some of these. If you hear squeaking in the background, I am so sorry. It's just what my life is right now. I'll talk to you soon with something else.